Hello guys, how are you doing? My name is Winfred and welcome to this channel where it's all about life. Every Friday we do live chats and today is one of them, and I've got my special guest that will introduce herself for you to know. Thank you so much guys who have tuned in, subscribers, you are amazing, and those of you who always constantly tune in. Looking forward to every Friday where you can come on and we chat and just do life. I don't know who is watching in and where you're watching from, but it's a live chat. Go ahead and drop in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from, what your name is. Let me know about the sound if it is good, and if it is not, let me still know that the sound needs some touching here or there. Otherwise, you're welcome to this channel. Jamie says hi. Hi, my dear, and thank you. You're the first one to tune in today, and I'm so glad that you've tuned in. Let me know if the sound is good because it is key that our sound is really good. The sound is good? Okay, that is good to know. Well, like I said, my name is Winfred. Hi, Jasper. Hi, Kira and Corey. You guys are great. Thank you so much for tuning in. And like I said, my name is Winfred, and this channel is all about reading the Bible on a daily basis. But Fridays are specifically dedicated to life and how we do life, how you find life. It is good when we unwind and talk about the realities of life. Life can throw at you lemons and you make lemonades. It can throw at you wood and you make furniture. So yeah, it's one of those days. It's Friday, and I'm just waiting to see if everyone has come on board before we start. I'm just going to share the link with those who said I should share the link with them, and then we can start. I don't want my guest to introduce herself before I've shared the link. I want everyone to take her in and prepare questions. She's really good. I'm just sharing the link and then we can start. You can also let me know how your Friday has been, whether it has been a good one, a long one, or it is still going and you're still yet to sort yourself out. Okay, I've finished sharing the link, and now I want us to have our guest introduce herself to us so that we can all get to know her. Yeah, the mic. I don't know whether you can hear me. That is why I'm asking about the sound. Okay, I've finished inviting on the few that had to be on. And I hope the rest will join us along the way. Okay, now my guest will introduce herself before a quick one. And guys, not many questions. She's just a guest, yeah. Uh, and someone is saying hello. Audrey is saying hello, and Jamie is saying you're waiting to hear from the guest. Okay, now let her introduce herself and let us know something about her, at least something small.
Hi guys, my name is Audrey, the firstborn to this wonderful lady here, of 5 children, and I'm proud and honored to be here as a special guest.
Oh, isn't that sweet? This is my daughter, yes. And she has done the intros, so we are going to start. Now, our topic of discussion today is, do soulmates exist, or is it just timing? Yeah, do soulmates exist, or is it just timing? If you know, and that is your cup of tea, guys, go on and say in the comments. Let us know what your take is, what you think, if you believe soulmates exist. Let us know what you think about soulmates. Do they exist, or is it just timing? Reason I said is it just timing because there are so many reasons why people meet. It could be timing, yeah. And today we are out to dive deep into that. Some say there is only one person out there for you, a soulmate, fated connection, the one who makes your heart feel at home. Yeah, you've heard those sayings going around. Yeah, have you heard those where they say, as soulmates is that they say that only one person, there's only one person out there for everyone, and that person is called a soulmate. uh, uh, you can meet via a fated connection, and you meet this one person that makes you feel at home. Single dad, it's all chance. Oh my goodness. I don't know about chance, but it is out there. Do soulmates really exist? Or is it just timing? Single dad has said it's just chance. Single dad, thank you for coming on board, and we'll wait to hear your comments. But others say love is just about timing, about two people being ready at the same moment, willing to commit and grow together. So, which is it? That is the thing that we are going to be unveiling today. Like I said, some say that love is just about timing, about two people being ready at the same time and same moment, willing to commit and grow together. So we want to know, which one is it? Is it fate? Is it um, this one person that was created for you? Today we are going to be unveiling so many of those. Is love a magical force pulling two souls together, or is it just a well-timed coincidence? Those are the areas that we are going to handle. Is love a magical force pulling two souls together, or is just a well-timed coincidence? Today we are diving deep into one of the oldest romantic questions of all time. Do soulmates really exist? Emmanuel Cooper, yes, they do. I'm yet to hear from you, Emma. If you say soulmates do exist, I'm yet to hear from you. And you let me know about your experiences and how you got to know that they do exist. Do soulmates really exist, or is it just timing? And by the end of this video, you just might see love a little differently. That is why introducing all these different areas that we are going to look at, that will open our eyes to seeing and deciding for ourselves what really is. Origins of soulmates, the origin of soulmate concept, the idea of soulmate is not new. It's ancient, yeah? And because it's Asian, we are going to cover ground. The fact that the term dates back to Greek mythology. Emma still says they do. Emmanuel says still they do. But I'll hear from you what you meant by they do. Uh, Philosophers describe how humans were one special being with four arms and four legs and two heads, one heart, two hearts pumping as one. Yeah, but God fearing our power, the gods fearing our power split us into two. Since then, we've been searching for the other half or our soulmate. I'll read some comments that have just come in. Read for me the comment.
Jemmy 770 says I agree.
And Rogers, this one is called Rogers.
And Rogers says good evening everyone.
Good evening, Rogers. So glad to hear from you. I know you have a busy schedule, but you skip it and always come on board. Thank you so much for always tuning in. And I pray that you will give us some good insight on on soulmates, whether they do exist or is it just timing. That is the topic of discussion today. And just in case you've just joined, guys, uh, there's some say that there's only one person out there for everyone. And a soulmate is a fated connection. Those are all things that are out there. The one who makes your heart feel at home is your soulmate. These are all ideas of what people think of soulmates. And Emmanuel Cooper says, yes, they do. Again, Emma, we are waiting to hear from you. Let us know. You're insisting on soulmates do exist. Let us know what your take is on soulmates. You say they do. Have you encountered one? Are you with one? Let us know what you think. Otherwise, some people think that person who makes your heart feel at home is a soulmate. And others say a soulmate is someone you met out of fate connection, whereby it's a bad ordeal that makes you meet. Yeah. And they say that there's a right person for everyone out there. But others say love is just about timing. So these are all different ideas that are out there about two people being ready at the same time at the same time and willing to commit and grow together. Those can also be termed as soulmates. And they say love is a magical force pulling two souls together, or is it just a well-timed coincidence? All those are myths. So I'm yet to hear from you guys. Which one do you think is? Otherwise, today we are diving deep into one of the oldest romantic questions of all time. Do soulmates really do exist? Or is it just timing? And by the end of this video, you may just, see love a little differently. So if you have any ideas like Emmanuel, please go on and let us know. You said soulmates do exist, and Single Dad said it is chance. So take us through, Single Dad. I don't know your take, Rogers. Go ahead and let us know if you think soulmates do exist. And together, let us grow and exchange ideas and chat Friday night away. Otherwise, I'm waiting for your comments, guys. It's a live chat. Go ahead and drop your comments. We'll be able to read them as and when we see them. It's a live chat, and normally we are on Friday for about 2 hours. So if you have any cup of tea, grab it, your popcorn, and let's just chat Friday night away. I'm waiting to hear from people like Lillian and Quality Marriage, to hear from Alan. Those are people who have always been on, and I don't see them yet. I'm hoping they will tune in and join us. Otherwise, do soulmates really exist? I need to hear from you guys. What's your opinion? For example, Jadine, what do you think? Do soulmates exist, or is it just timing?
I feel like it's a two-thing way. So it goes both ways. It could be timing and it could be a chance thing, a fated thing. Because they're all different types of love. And I could love my friend. But if we're talking about the love of your life, I would say it is timing and it is fated. You have to be ready.
For
You have to
either
be ready. Yeah. You can't, if your love comes to you at a wrong time, everything will be ruined and you will not be ready. You have problems either financially or emotionally, mentally. You wouldn't be ready to have a partner. And if the timing is good, then yes, I think soulmates do really exist.
And Jamie says, I agree with the special guest. Let us know what you agree with. Don't just agree with what the special guest has said. Let us know what you agree with. Otherwise, both do matter. Also, you think it is both chance and both fate. Okay, we'll find out. Like I say, the origin of love. the origin of soulmate concept. The idea of soulmate isn't new, it's ancient. Philosophers have said we started off with four hands, four legs, two hearts, one head, but two hearts beating as one, and then the goats got scared and cut us up into two and split us. So we spend our life looking for the other mate. Oh, that is another thought that I don't agree with because I've got my bits as well. And religion and culture across the world have their own versions as well. That's why I'm saying I don't agree with that. Philosophers have a tendency of ruining a good thing and taking God out of concept and making it seem like all this happened because it was bound to happen. But I believe in religion, which borders culture. And wrote something. Can you read for us what she wrote?
Jamie says you need to be mentally prepared to start a relationship, and also faith brings you together.
Okay, I can hear you, Jenny, on that one. And before we go deep into that, okay, I'll talk about the different concepts that are out there. There's the religious and cultural. The religions and cultures across the world have their own versions of soulmates, whether they exist or it is timing. Yeah, and also the Hindu. The Hindus speak of karmic bonds. Yeah, and reincarnation love. All these are beliefs that are out there. And Jamie just wrote something else. Maybe you can read it.
Your soulmate can be halfway across the world, but fate allows you to meet somehow.
Yeah, that is very, very true. That is very true. We call it fate. I have something else that I call it. I call it God and destiny. I mean, it was meant to be. But you will agree with me or disagree with me. And Alan says, "Hello, Winfred, special guest Audrey, yo."
Hello, Anna.
Okay. And you said, "Hello, everyone. Hello, my dear. How are you? Thank you for tuning in." Uh, when we go to the Hindus speak of karmic bonds and reincarnation love. There are so many beliefs out there, but I'll give all the, the concepts, but then I'll give you what is mine. Yeah, I don't agree with all of them. Christianity speaks of divine union and God ordained partners. Now that is where I am. Yeah, where the Christianity speaks of divine unions and God ordained partners. You guys can give your opinions as well on where you fall and what you agree or think is right. In Chinese folklore, there is the red thread of fate, an invisible string, an invisible string that ties destined lovers together regardless of time, places, and circumstances. The Chinese have that and they believe it. And Shaboya, I too believe that it is God who
brings people together.
brings people together. Yeah, you are of the same mind as me. I really think it is God who brings two people together because all these things are out there and we are going to discuss them. I was just introducing them to see where you fall on this one. But what do these stories have in common? They are a romantic, yes, but they also share something deeper than human longing to belong to someone, to feel known and feel destined. All this is driving to one thing. People want to belong. They want to feel like someone has known them. They were intended for each other. Yeah, they were destined. They are longing for that feeling of destiny when it comes to love, soulmates. Now, it is science versus spirituality. It's like a whole concept that is science versus spirituality. So, what is a soulmate before we go any further? If you ask a spiritual teacher, they will say a soulmate is someone whose soul resonates to yours. Jadine can read that comment that has just come in.
Happy Family says, I do not have idea here. Let me wait for Lillian's comments. And them too. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Them chill says the great, very good, my teacher.
Zemichel, thank you so much for tuning in. And read what Shaboya said.
Shabuya says every man has a missing rib that belongs to a destined woman, and God is the only one who brings both of them together as one.
Okay, and what Jasper wrote is,
Jasper says, I like your videos.
oh, thank you so much, Jasper. And Zemichel, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Zemichel is one of my students for the English class. Thank you so much, Zemichel. I hope by the end of the podcast, you have picked a lot of points and things. And special shouts go out to you and every Elytrian out there. Special shouts go out. Otherwise, studies show that often uh, I was saying, I was saying if you ask a spiritual teacher, they will say a soulmate is someone whose soul resonates with yours. Yeah, someone you likely met in the past life or a mirror who helps you grow. Those are spiritual teachers. Yeah. But then your soulmate, others say your soulmate may not make life easier, but they awaken your soul in a way no one else can. That is why the connection can feel intense, even painful at times. Oh my goodness, that is something. Now, those of you who have just dropped by, just to give a quick run through of what we have covered and where we started off from, we are talking about, do soulmates really exist? Or is this just timing? Some say there is one person for everyone. A soulmate is a fated connection, the one who makes your heart feel at home. So today we are talking about soulmates. Do they really exist or is it just timing? If you want to hear about soulmates, you're in the right place. Go on, grab your eat or drink, and let us chat Friday night away. Now, there are others who say that love is just about timing, about two people being ready at the same time. Yeah, willing to commit and grow together. So, which is it? Is what we are going to find out today on the live podcast. And it's a live chat, guys. Go on and drop it in the comments who you are, where you're watching in from, and let us know what your opinion is on soulmates. Do you believe in such a thing, or is it something that doesn't work out for you or doesn't tick right with you? Some people do believe, others don't. Today we are here to discuss soulmates. Zemichel says, I like your video. All you should post your videos on. Sleepy Cat says, like that girl. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, guys, for the comments. It's a live chat. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. What your opinion is about soulmates, whether you think it's something that exists or it's timing. Is love a magical force pulling two people together, or is it just a well timed coincidence? These are things we are going to unveil in the video today. Today, we are diving deep into one of the oldest romantic questions of all time. Do soulmates really exist, or is it just timing? And by the end of this video, you just might see love differently. Yeah? We went through the origin of soulmates, the concept, the idea of soulmates. And I said it's ancient. There are philosophers who think we started off as four-legged creatures with four hands, two hearts, beating as one, two heads. But then the gods got annoyed with us and split us into two. That is why we spend the rest of our lives looking for the other part that is missing. Now, that is for the philosophers, guys. That's not my opinion. I'll give mine later. I'm just taking us through all these concepts that are out there. And religion and culture across the world have their own version on soulmates and whether they exist or is it timing. And the Hindus speak of karmic words and karmic bonds and reincarnation love. The Hindus. Then the Christian speaks of divine union and God ordained pattern. partners. So go on and let me where you fall. Are you among the Hindu believers? Are you among the Christians that believe that it's God's divine union and God ordained partners that we are dealing with when we talk about soulmates? Or are you among the philosophers that think we had 4 legs, 4 hands, 2 hearts beating as one, 2 heads, and then we got split by the gods because they got annoyed with us? Yeah, because they were fearing what would become, so they split us. And the Chinese also believe there is a red thread of fate, an invisible string that ties destiny lovers together, regardless of time, place, or circumstances. So we are going to unveil all that. But what do these stories have in common is what we are going to deal with today. The romantics say yes, but they also share something deeper, the human longing to belong to someone. To feel known and feel destined is why people think and feel about soulmates. Science, so it's actually ends up as a debate between science and spirituality. So I went on and explained what a soulmate was. If you ask a spiritual leader, Jasper says, for me, I follow the Christian philosophy. That's a good one, Jazania, and it's sorry, Jasper, and it's very wise that you go that way. If you ask a spiritual teacher, they will say a soulmate is someone whose soul resonates with yours, someone you've likely met in the past life, a mirror who helps you grow. There are those who believe in that one. Your soulmate may not make life easier, but they will awaken your soul in a way that no one else can. That is why the connection can feel intense, even painful sometimes. If you ask a neuroscientist, you will get a different answer. They will say that love is largely chemistry, neurotransmitters doing their thing. She's doing sciences. Maybe she will tell us what she thinks. Is it as a matter of chemistry? Is it chemistry? You think?
If you're thinking scientifically and more logically, yeah,
So you think it's neurotransmitters going on and doing their thing with you?
yeah.
Okay. That is an opinion that is also out there. Guys, it's a live chat. Go on and drop in the comments. Let me know who is watching, where you're watching from, and what your opinion is on soulmates. Do you believe in soulmates or is it just timing? Yeah, I'm giving you the different scenarios so that you can give me your opinion on soulmates. Because studies have shown that people often describe feelings of fate or soul connection when they are in the throes of intense attraction. But science tells us that this is just your brain on love. Did you know that? This is just your brain on love. The feeling of destiny can be very real, but it's often your brain trying to make sense of deep emotional experiences. Now, remember, I told you it gets to a point where it's science versus spirituality. Now, the scientists are saying it's your brain trying to make sense of deep emotional experiences. I don't know about these scientists and what they think, but it looks like scientists want to disprove God in every way. Guys, let me know what you think. I feel like they want to disprove God in every way, taking him out of context. They believe we came from monkeys. Do you believe you came from a monkey?
Oh no.
Yeah, well, they think we
But
came
I
from
do
monkeys.
think that they are trying to figure out where something happened, you know? They don't think something just magically happens. It has to have a reason. So they go out and try to look for an example or something
To believe in.
to believe in.
Now, I'll give an example, like I always give when I'm reading the Bible. I'm sorry, those of you who don't believe in the Bible, but I believe that the world was created by someone. Yeah? And if there is someone, okay, let's just imagine that beautiful car that you see out there parked in the garage or in the storehouses, or that you always see passing by on the main road. It was manufactured by someone, and someone has got to maintain it because it was made. It cannot exist on its own. Someone has got to fuel it. Someone has got to maintain it in terms of washing it, making sure it's clean, it's serviced, much as it was made. Someone has to maintain it. So whoever is the owner of that car has to make sure it is serviced, has to make sure it is maintained, it's taken care of. Now, because of that, I go back to what we think of God. I believe God created this world and put us there. And so He is in charge, ensuring that we are maintained, that we are in good health, that we are provided for. That is what I think. But scientists take God out of context, and it's like the world existed on its own and it has never had anyone in it. I believe God is the one running the things, guys. We may not see Him, but He's running things. He's the reason you and I can see each other today. I mean, He closes these eyes and you can't see again. Yeah, He closes your ears and you can never hear. So He's the one who unplugs our ears and we hear, unveils our eyes and we can see. Basically, I cannot take God out of context, but scientists seem to take God out of everything. Even two people meeting, all scientists can say those are just emotions going on. Let us read what Shavoya has just written.
Shavoya says, I believe that if you dig deeper into science, it actually points to God.
Then why is it most scientists seem not to believe? Because if it actually points to God, then why is it they believe we came from monkeys? Why are monkeys not giving birth to children anymore? Monkeys are now giving birth to monkeys, and we are giving birth to ourselves, humans. So I think it is wrong what some of the scientists make of God, that He's out of the picture. He's right in the middle of things. Just like a car that is beautiful, it cannot maintain itself. It has to be driven by someone, it has to be fueled by someone, has to be serviced by someone. It goes to show you that God can't be pulled out of the picture. He is right in the middle. So when we talk about faith, when we talk about soulmates, God is right there. And I'll give you my opinion later. But let's continue reading the comments.
Shabuya continues and says, most scientific conclusions point to God, but some scientists are just in denial or just simply choose not to believe.
That is so true. Now I agree with Shavoyo. You are so right on that one.
And Lillian says, good evening.
Oh my goodness, Lillian, you're welcome. Rogers has been waiting for you to come on board and give your opinion before he says anything. So I hope Rogers is awakened and he starts giving us his opinion on do soulmates exist or is it just timing? Lillian, that is the topic of discussion, and we've covered the Hindus who believe in bonds, the Chinese who believe in the invisible strings that pull and tie people, whether they are near or far from each other. We've looked at the philosophers who think we came from creatures. We were supposed to be four-legged creatures with four hands and two heads, two hearts pumping as one. Let us know what your opinion is on this one. Before Shaboyo said, Shaboya, we also handled the area that your soul may not make life easier, but they may just awaken your soul in a way that no one else can. That is something that we noted, but there's a comment that has just come in.
Jasper says, hello, Lillian.
Hey, everyone is greeting you, Lillian. So we are waiting to hear your opinion on this. If you ask a neuroscientist, like we talked with her, they say that love is largely chemistry and neurotransmitters doing their thing with you. That is why we feel like this is the right person for me. And studies show that people often describe feelings of fate or soul connection when they are in the throes of intense attraction. But science tells us that this is just your brain on love. Those are scientists. The feeling of destiny can be very real, but it's often your brain trying to make sense of deep emotional experiences. That is what scientists are saying. The role of timing in relationships, they say it is very key when it comes to science. What if soulmates aren't chosen and they are met? And Roger says, I'm still around. Hey, hello. We are waiting to hear, Rogers, what your opinion is on soulmates. What if soulmates aren't chosen and they are met? And what if timing is the real matchmaker? These are all things that we are going to look at. Two people can meet and not be ready. One is healing from a breakup, the other is chasing a career. They feel something, but the timing is off. Yeah. Years ago, years go by, they meet again, and now it works. Some people different time, same people different time. Is it fate or timing? Is that fate or timing? We need to hear what the comments that have come in.
Lillian says, glad to be here with all my good people.
Good to see you, my dear. I'll hear from you. Now, my opinion on this one would first of all bench on the Christian opinion. I really believe there's a soulmate for everyone out there. I strongly believe. Like if we go back, remember, guys, this is a Bible based channel. If we go back to the very beginning when God was creating the world, He created Adam and Eve. Now, because He created Adam and Eve, He did not create Adam, Eve, Sarah, Jackie, Peter, and He created Adam and Eve, meaning there is one person, that one right person for everyone. And we just have to find them. We go through life. Some of us go through life and never really get to meet them. Others are lucky and they get to meet them if they are patient. There is one person that told me, I prayed all my life. My teenage years, I was praying that in the right time I meet that right person that God intended for me. But look who I ended up with. Yeah, she's a coconut head after me praying so hard. Now remember, this gentleman was saying this, but he went. There are times you can go ahead of God. There's someone for everyone out there. I mean, I saw a Nigerian movie where there was this woman who was so self-cautious. She had stretch marks that were really, really bad and visible, dark black. And she thought no one would ever love her. But then there was this man out there who has always wanted a woman who had the strangest stretch marks, whereby if they are darker, the better. He didn't want them lighter or any other color, but black. And this woman was feeling down and beating herself up over the stretch marks that she had. And yet there was this man that was waiting. So they brought for the man several women over time. And none of them ticked his boxes. Why? They didn't have the black, really big stretch marks. And when this lady was presented, she was shy. She was like, who would ever think of me? And yet it was an answered prayer for this gentleman. So I really believe for everyone out there, even when you think you look the ugliest, you look the most damaged, if you hang in there, there's a right person for you. Every one of us, I believe, has the right person. But it all starts from a place when we go back and don't take God out of context. Because the moment we take Him out, then we go ahead of Him and then blame Him for our mistakes. Like if you were supposed to wait and meet your partner at about maybe 25, and you go on and meet people, different guys at 17, you definitely be messing up on things. And along the line, you'd go with the wrong person who wastes some of your time, if not your life. And then by the time you get to meet, if you ever meet them, you're blaming God for the mistakes. But actually, it was your choices that you couldn't wait for God to lead you to that right person. Because there's that thing that goes, do the right thing at the right time. If you are in school and then you decide to start dating, surely you're mixing matters here. And you're likely to make mistakes because God does not make mix, or God is not a God of chaos, where He's sending you to school and then sending also your husband to be or your wife to be at school so you can study together. He does not do things like that. What do you think?
What do I think about it?
Do you think God can send you to school in primary and also your husband so that you can study together and start a relationship straight away in primary?
I don't know. I do think he can send the soulmate and you study together, but you don't date each other.
And you
Like,
don't even notice each
yes,
other, or
exactly.
you don't
You
know.
could have that one class and be like, you reach each other in the future, maybe like 22 or 24, and you're like, I used to go to that school, you were in my class, right?
Mm.
It could happen like that.
And what about this thing the younger people call, they have a grow what? This a grow up, a glow up or something,
Yeah.
where you meet a person and they don't look as fine as they look when you meet them. So I believe all that is about timing. There's a time for everything. When you have grown into yourself and that person is there. So it goes to show us really soulmates do exist because God has got that missing piece for every one of us. Every one of us. But let us read some comments.
Jasper says, I would like to hear what the special guest has to say.
Tell us what you think.
On
Do you
timing.
think God is in it, or it is something that we, are you a Hindu believer where you think, are you a philosopher believer where you think we had 4 legs, 4 hands, and 2 heads, and then one had 2 hearts beating as one, and we were split because the gods were fearing what would become? Or are you one who believes in that invisible string like the Chinese believe, or Hindus that we reincarnate and come back?
I do take into aspect every one of them. I do believe with the neuroscientists who say it's transmitters going to your head, because emotions, if you go back to science, it's emotions are not usually what we all think. I feel loved. It's usually electrons or charges to the brain. But I am a Christian believer, and I believe, as we see in the Bible, God made Eve for Adam. And I believe we all have someone that's made for us, that feels like home, that feels like we don't have, like we know each other. And it usually doesn't like, sort of like, that's my soulmate. No, it usually goes, you take time, you get to know each other, you bond over things, and you get to feel safe and recognized and heard, and this person takes care of you and feels for you. And that's what I would say about soulmate.
I hope Jasper has heard. And now let us read from someone else. Guys, it's a live chat. Go on and drop in the comments. Let us know who is watching, where you're watching from, and what your opinion is about soulmates. Do they exist? Or is it just timing and chance? Like single dad said. I'm yet also to hear from single dad. He said it's chance and stopped at that. So I need to hear what single dad says.
Jasper says thanks for the reply. But I also want to ask you a question. Do you believe in soulmates?
Oh yeah, I strongly believe in soulmates. I believe that every one of us, there's someone God created for us. If we go back to the board where it all started, if for Adam he created Eve, definitely for every one of us, there's a James, a Jackson, a Tom, a Peter, a Michael out there for every one of us. But it's out of the greed and selfishness of our lives that we go ahead of God and then find ourselves partners or people that we spend our lives with. I really believe that there's a right person for everyone out there. I really do believe.
Do you think you're with your soulmate?
Oh yeah, I feel I am. I do believe I am my soulmate because I for sure had to know that he was the one. I'll give you my experience. You guys can, correct me on this. But years ago, before I met your father, I had told God, in the right time, may you bring that right person that I'm supposed to be with. Those of you who don't believe in prayer, well, that is what I prayed for. I said, bring the right person that I'm supposed to be with. That person who will work together, who will understand me, that I'll understand, who will be able to support me, that I'll be able to support as well, or regardless. Because once you get into a relationship, past this whole being excited, we are boyfriend, girlfriend, there is that whole life that awaits you. I mean, before all of you guys came in the picture, guys, this is my very first born, and I've got several other kids. But before they all came in picture, this is what happened with me. I realized many people were getting married and separating. So it scared me a lot, trying to do a relationship. I said, God, if I am not doing it right, I don't want to do it at all. I'm not saying I've got it right. And that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, I wanted to be sure he is the one. That even if it comes to loss, he will be there. I will be there for him. Even if it comes pain, I'll be there for him. He'll be there for me. But I also wanted to establish that the person I was with also had the same take about this. Because I didn't want to be the only one in the thing and I'm giving it my all and he's not. Yeah. So I wanted to know if he's the one. I really wanted to know for myself. Now I prayed for this when I was about senior, I think 2, and I said, in your right time, God, bring the right person. Now, I'll tell you a story. We used to hang around very many white people, and I thought maybe we would get married to whites, me and my siblings, because we had them for friends. They would come to our house, we would go to theirs. It was a unique kind of setting. So me and my sisters said we'll have definitely white people and give birth to children that have got nice, big curly hair. And I've got one. She has curly hair, guys, but you can't see it on camera. But the day I prayed and asked God, my relationship has always been different, where I pray and what I pray for, God really normally replies in a way that I understand and I have no doubt about it. So this time when I prayed, I went to bed and I told God, show me who I'm supposed to get married to, that I don't waste my time with riffraffs of time wasters, if I may put it. And so what happened was I had a dream, and in that dream, my husband to be was a dark-skinned man. He was not white. He had a kind of a fro on his head, and he was wearing glasses. Oh my goodness, that scared me to the bone. Because I was like, we are living with white people, and I'm thinking we are going to get married to white men. What is this dark man doing in my dreams? So I woke up and I knew for sure that was God talking to me because I had never seen him, and he had distinct features that God engraved in my head, so I could remember who he would look like even years to come. So when I went to school, I was focusing on my books. No one was going to sidetrack me that it's them because none of them looked like him. Do you see how God can go ahead of you and show you what you should, look up to? So what happened was he had distinct features that were engraved. And so when I was growing, I woke up in the morning, I told my sisters, guys, you know what? I'm very sad today. And they said, what? And I said, well, I had a dream about who is going to marry me. And he said, what? Is he white? Is he this one? Because we had friends that were, if we wanted to really get involved with them, we could have because they were open-minded white people who were okay to marry black girls. Now, I told them, no, he's not white. and he's not Jonathan. There was a friend called Jonathan, and we had another one called Corey. And these were friends that would come every year, every summer, and would spend time together. But the moment I knew he is dark skinned, he's not white, oh my goodness, I was focusing like someone whose light has just turned on. So I went to school. No one was wasting my time. I mean, I could see you a mile away and get you have no glasses, you have no features like this, then you're not the one. So that kept me through school. Yeah. Now, through school, I completed school and never had a boyfriend. Why? Because I knew who was made for me. And all I was doing is doing a waiting game, waiting for that person God had showed me. And years later, when I had started working, I met this lady who said, the right person is coming, the one whom God had showed you. And when he comes, you will surely know he's the one because he has already told you about him. Yeah. So, guys, I believe in soulmates. And when he came, for sure, I actually told my sisters, described them to, if they are tuning in, they would let you know if I'm telling lies. This is years before I'm talking about doing school and finishing. And yet I had described him the way he would be. So I didn't waste any time with those white people. I knew they are not my type. They are not what God has chosen for me. Because once you find that one, even his mistakes, you'll be able to bear. And you will be able to love them through their flaws as well. So I strongly believe in soulmates. I do believe God is behind it. He ordains it if you allow him and not go ahead of him. The problem is we go ahead of God and then blame him when things fail. Yeah. We are like, oh, you're like, Kale, he wasted much of my time. I wish I didn't spend that time with this person. I didn't know he was a devil incarnated. You end up calling yourselves names, eh? But when actually you just were two people who were all right, but ended up with the wrong people because you didn't inquire from God.
But I do think we learn from our mistakes.
You can learn from your mistakes, but when you fall and get wounds, and the wounds heal, and you fall in them again, and they heal, by the time you're really where
You
you're
learn.
supposed to be, you're filled with scars that tell your story. But yet you can get there without a scar.
Yes, but you do learn how to not fall.
You
You know what I
learn
mean?
not to fall. You can never learn not to fall. You always learn because you landed with the wrong to the wrong person or with the wrong person. They scar you. And then before you get there, you're damaged goods. Imagine I buy a white cloth for a dress, yeah, from a shop. And then before I take it home, someone steps on it. And just before I get out of the shop, again, it falls down in the mud. By the time I get home, it's a white dress for me. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is tainted. You take it home, you have to first give it a wash, but it won't come out as white as it was before. You get me?
But I do think if, let's say, I get into a relationship and now it does not work out and I'm heartbroken, and either it was issues or trust or any other issue, I would go into our next relationship knowing that I should be more open. And if this person, if I'm tainted, I would say, like you said, if I'm tainted, the person, the soulmate, or the person I'm with will love me regardless of what I've gone through.
That is true, but I'll give you an example. Yeah. There are people who have met, say, like ladies that are single mothers and treated them well, but always reminding them of their past. Yeah.
Then that's not your soul.
They may,
Someone who constantly
you
reminds
get to a place where if they've said things about you, you start losing faith in yourself and confidence. And so you just start tolerating. Because you're like, who else would love me with 6 children? Who else would love me after I've had 5 children? You understand? So anyone who comes your way, you don't look at them as destiny, as soulmate, but you look at them as people who are tolerating you because of your baggage. Yeah, you will not be expressing yourself freely as you would had you not. You understand? Yeah. So I hope we have not taken up much of your time. We're still on the topic. Do soulmates exist, or is it just uh, timing? Yeah. Now, there is a point here that maybe timing isn't just about the clock or the calendar. Maybe it's about emotional maturity. Yeah. There is that bit that you meet this person who is emotionally mature and you're emotionally mature and you meet together and you're like, oh my goodness, we complete each other's sentences. We both have the dream of getting out of poverty as soon as. And so you think that is the right one. That could also seem like, fate. But when we try to understand for ourselves who is it that is right for us, then we are about to make mistakes. Guys, have you seen people in relationships who put up fronts? I mean, I give you this face that you would want to see. Yeah. I make sure I'm always smiling, my hair is in place, my nails are done. I'm always, attentive to your jokes. But when actually you get me home, I will show you what I'm really made of. I'm not always smiling. I'm actually tired of your jokes. They are not even funny. You understand? There are people who can put up fronts. So if you go with what you see, say like you talk to me about investments and you're looking to, like I know someone who wants to find a girl right now and he's looking for someone who has got their head right on, someone who is enterprising, who is business oriented. So if you're the kind of girl and you meet him, he'll be like, oh my goodness, this is the one I've always waited for. But not necessarily. We women tend to put up a front of, and not only women, I know even men who act a certain way. They act like they have money in a relationship, like they will sort every problem. Your money keep for yourself. Mine will take care of us when actually they have no money to their names. Yeah. Even as ladies, there are things we put up with because I want to get you. I want you to like me. Yeah. And I can put up with so much. But you may settle with what you see when actually it's not. Yeah. And you think I'm your soulmate, only to get there. That is why many relationships have failed. So me, it gets me back to the point of going back to our knees and asking God to show us who it is that is the right person. And there's no time too late. You can always go before God and say, God, I need to know. I made a mistake. Even the Bible says that a saint is a sinner who falls down and gets up. Like children, when you guys were learning to walk, yeah, you would fall down, but you would not sit down because and say, oh, well, I fell in the morning, I can't get up. You immediately get up and start walking. Why? Because you fall down, you get up. Even when you made a mistake and met with the wrong people or the wrong person thinking is the right one, and then he leaves you after having a child with you and then gets another one, you get another one, and also that one lives with another child and goes. Those are mistakes. Count them as scars and move on. I mean, it's never too late. You can always ask God to show you who the right one is out there if there is someone. And if there is no, be okay being alone. I tell that to people and they think because I'm in a relationship, that's why I'm saying it's okay to be alone. But really, if someone is not treating you right, if he's not filling in the gaps, what are you doing with them? Really, what? That is what takes us back to soulmates. He's got to be that person that completes you. It makes you better. Like if all the time I'm with you in a relationship and you're making me feel bad about myself, reminding me how I've got a big nose or I've got a big foot or all these imperfections that I've got. If you keep on reminding me of those things, that means that kind of person is even not the right one for you. Because if I have a big nose, I have a big foot or big this or small that, why are you with me? Go and be with that person that has got them. Yeah. So really, we shouldn't be people that settle. You are better than that. Whoever is listening, you're better than that. If the person you are with, you thought was the right person, and it turns out they are not, you can leave. Unless you are married. Because marriage changes the game, guys. It does change the game. You made your bed, you rest in it. It says till death do you part, except in cases of infidelity or or cheating, like Shah said. Yeah. Otherwise, I am one for staying in marriages because those are God ordained covenants that we cannot just wake up and say, I'm tired, I made a wrong choice, because so many people choose. And then after that, they go back and say, like, oh, well, I don't know even where I was looking when I looked your way. You are my biggest mistake. If a person says those words that are so painful to you, it hurts. And you imagine doing a lifetime with them. It is such a wrong thing. That means they are going to do other things and hurt you even more and more and more. So if you're not married, you leave. You leave.
Some comments.
Yeah, yeah.
Roger says, I believe every person has their soulmate.
Uh-huh.
And Jemmy 77 says, but from your example, you said that God saved him in your memory with distinct features that you later saw in the future in him. But what if you go through all these different types of relationships to prepare you for a destined soulmate? Like, let's say your soulmate wants a woman with kids, and you have had kids from your past relationship. Some failed relationships in the past can make you have the features or qualities that your soulmate would want.
Hey, Lord. That's a deep one. That is a deep one. So, in other words, you're building mistakes over and over because you're preparing for your soulmate. Well, you'll be surprised. We all get what we deserve in life. Like I said, there are people who have taken on women or ladies or people who have women who have become stepmothers to children, yeah, in relationships. But I'm telling you, it's not a bed of roses. Yeah,
It's not, but
because
as Jimmy says, what if your partner can't have kids? Let's put it in that way. He can't have kids, and maybe he's like went through something and he can't have children, but he wants a woman with children. And you're not a woman who has children,
so and you have to work
and
towards
you have
getting
and
to the
your
requirements of
your soulmates, but you both want kids, but he can't have kids.
Mm.
And you've had kids, but someone who has had kids before would go for that one and leave you alone because you
So my sound is okay? And I want it charged if possible. Sorry guys, we are trying to work on sound, and no one had told me my sound had gone low, unless you can be able to hear us very well, guys. But it looked like my sound had gone off. It will break, and okay, I hope the sound is better now. Now, Jamie 770 has said that what if the partner you're looking for, your soulmate to be, is looking for someone who has got kids? Remember, he's not looking for someone who has got kids. He's got a condition, and it is God orchestrating things. That is why I say it is always good that we go before God and ask Him. Probably this is one person who has messed up their lives, having kids left, right, and center. Yeah, because before that they didn't know any better. Yeah. But when they go back to God and say, God, I know I made mistakes. Please get me the right person. If there is anyone out there, guess what God will do? He will make those two meet as an answered prayer, because it normally doesn't happen. A person who cannot have kids normally wants to adopt, and you adopt together. You understand?
but you would want to of your own.
Yeah, but if you can't have, what can you do about it? So if it all gets back to getting to our knees and praying to God and asking Him that even if you messed up your life, you believe that He can give you someone right. Yeah. So those are the cases you hear. This man cannot have children or lost his wife and children in the accident, and now he's just looking for someone who has already got a family. There are those cases because they are products of answered prayer. Is there any other comment?
Tisanya says, Jasper says, it is okay. The sound.
Okay, thank you, Jasper.
And Jeremy 77 says, for example, in the past relationships, they can break up with you for the same reason and you're a problem.
Normally, a person who makes you feel like you are a problem.
No, like she said, if you're with someone that's not your soulmate and you're clearly the problem, it's better to go into the next relationship or your soulmate relationship when you know you're the problem and you work to it or you work.
The thing is, we are a problem to people who are not meant to be with us. But with the right person, like I said, you are accommodative, yeah, you are understanding, you're supportive. But if the person is not the one meant for you,
you're not
honest, you will meet together and both of you will be like fist fighting all the time because you're not with the right person. An example, if you get sugar, a kilo of sugar and another kilo of sugar and mix them together, even when they are from a different shop, but they are all brown sugars, they mix very well, right? Regardless of where you got the other sugar. But when you get brown sugar and mix it with white, the white will stay white and the brown will stay brown. The two are not compatible. Like terms and unlike terms, yeah? So I think that answers what Jamie said. Guys, it's a live chat. Go ahead, drop your comments and let us know what your opinion is on soulmates. Do you think they exist? I need to hear from Rogers. You said, yes, you believe soulmates exist, but I need to hear your story or your opinion on soulmates. And also Lydia and
I do have a comment.
Cooper. Okay, yeah, can you read?
Lillian says, and some people may go through life without finding a soulmate.
That is very true. Very, very true. And the reason for that would be because we go ahead of God. I know scientists will say we don't allow chemistry, neuroscience, something to kick in. But if you go ahead of God and you don't allow God to take over, you will go through life minus realizing. I always give it as an example that if God had intended that at 30 years is when you meet this right person, but then you choose to sleep with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, yeah, by the time you are 20, you are really ruined, if not, down with other diseases and not even able probably to go up to 30. Why? You missed a good thing. And then you just go through life regretting and wondering why but it was your making. So we can't go on and just, sit back before we make decisions on commitments. Yeah. There are problems that I see here waiting to happen, especially if we are choosing partners and people we think are soulmates. But can you imagine I meet you and I say, oh my goodness, she's got that nose that I've always wanted. And her lips are sitting on just right. Yeah, so she must be my soulmate. Can you really get a person basing on features that can change anytime? Now, those are mistakes that we are making while we are picking partners. You're saying they've got nyash, what people in Uganda call work. Yeah, today I've got work, and tomorrow what seems like work is not there anymore, and it's the in thing now is big lips. So I have to change myself to become your soulmate. But really, is that me? I changed it. And now what you're looking at is the changed version of me that is bound to maybe go back at some point. Yeah. So if we can make choices basing on rational things like, I've gone before God. I want someone who is kind. I want someone who is patient. I want someone who is loyal. These are things that will help us later relate. But you cannot relate with big busts. You cannot relate with big bums, big hips, big lips, or small noses, or whatever it is that we think is beautiful. We can't. So when we are making choices, especially us ladies and even the men, when the men are picking, when us ladies we are picking, we want those muscles, I want the six pack. Oh my goodness, he's this. Oh my goodness, he's got that deep voice. What happens if flu kicks in and twists up the voice a bit? Yeah. Then the love goes, or he ceases to be your soulmate. Oh my goodness, he drives this car, he's cool. Yeah, he's giving. What happens when that happens? Yeah. So there are things that we base on when we are looking at soulmates. Oh my goodness, he knows how to kick football. He plays football very well. And I've always loved a person who plays football. Then what happens if he gets an injury and cannot play football anymore? Does he stop to be a soulmate? You see, there are things that we are basing on looking at soulmates that are really vague, and we should be looking at other things to make decisions. Is there another comment?
Um, Jasper says Lillian is right.
Mm.
Or if you don't, well, if you go through life and you don't find yourself. I also have a question on that.
Mm.
Do you think you can just be in the world and don't have a soulmate, even though you've not tried looking for anything, you've not tried anything, but you just don't have a soulmate?
I don't think, like I said, even for Adam, God saw and said he was alone. Yeah.
But the male proportions to the female proportions.
That is what we think, because we think all of us, because we are black, we're supposed to get married to black people who are in Uganda, in your village, in your community, you know, in your surrounding. We are so wrong. Where you are, it could be that the men in the area are not the ones made for you. I always believe that we are what we are because of what God has called us to be and to do. Yeah. You find yourself very tall because God has prepared, and that men in your area are short. And then you start thinking, I think I'm not meant to be with anyone. But simply because maybe someone that is supposed to marry is in Sudan or is in Korea somewhere, but is this tall person in Korea. But we always limit God when we look at the scope of our settings. Yeah. Where you are, there are very few people. Yeah. Now, the person I got married to, I didn't grow up with him. I didn't know him from Adam, but he was out there. Now I was hanging out with white people. I thought it is one of those white guys that I was supposed to get married to. You see how the dynamics work out? But then God had intended that it's someone black, not even them. So if those whites were few, mine was black. You understand? So for everyone out there, if we trust God, because he saw Adam and Eve and said Adam was alone, that means God sees and is very much concerned about our loneliness. If we are alone, he doesn't want man. That's why the Bible says it's not good for man to be alone. And so he made a partner, a helper. Yeah. That means for everyone God sees, he sees that Jadine is alone and it's the right time and she has preserved herself. She trusts me to bring the right person. Now let me bring him, or let me take her to him. And then you find yourself in Korea. And that is where your soulmate is coming from. Yeah. So really, I believe soulmates are out there. Any other comments?
Jamie says, let's say you just naturally don't like sharing. She's still on the point of past relationships, and you can get to a past relationship and to meet your soulmate. Let's say you just naturally don't like sharing, even since childhood, but no one told you about it. But you learn from the past relationships and change.
And you think in relationships people share?
No, not like she said, for example. And yes, you do share.
Now, there is a way we see relationships. Are we seeing it as a training ground where you are training to become something?
You're training to become something, but you try. You do try.
Do you know you don't have to train or try if you wait on God's timing? This person comes. I believe in the right time with the right person. I know we can make mistakes, but it goes back to the drawing board. Who is it behind the wheels? I gave an example of a car. However beautiful it is, it cannot drive itself. It cannot service itself. It cannot fuel itself. It needs someone to fuel it. Yeah? To start it, to service it, to take care of it, or even to drive it. So same applies to us and God. He created us and we are that beautiful car. Guess what? We need him. He is the sole owner of our lives. We need him to guide us. Like the car, however beautiful, needs someone to drive it from one place to another because that's what it's created to do. But it needs God. It needs the driver, to drive it. So same applies to us. Even when it comes to relationships, we go before him. Let's not take him out of context and be like the philosophers who think we were four-legged and so we waste our time looking around for that other creature that was taken off. Yeah. And also, like the is it the Hindu who believe in reincarnation that we die and come back looking for those partners who are supposed to be? No, it is God behind it all.
But in some relationships, I've seen people do say he feels familiar. She feels familiar. Even though I've never met the person, the person feels familiar. They feel like they've known them.
Yeah, there's that is also part of that feel that you
Would
get.
you say that would be reincarnation?
No, no. It is someone you feel so much comfortable with, at home with, that you feel like,
Oh no, like you just met this person, though, like maybe in a conference meeting or at university, in the office, at a coffee shop, and you just see this person without even talking
and
to
you
them,
feel like you know them.
and you feel like you know them,
But
you've
knowing
never
them,
met
knowing them doesn't mean they are your soulmates. You get it? You can
No.
feel like I feel like I've seen that person somewhere, but really that's all it is. You've probably seen them somewhere, but it does not mean they are your soulmates. That just because you've seen them somewhere or you know them from some place, that you should get into a relationship with them. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Okay, we have some comments. Lillian says the question is, how would you know that they are the soulmates when you meet them?
I know. How do you know this is my soulmate? Me, like I say, I'll give my own point of view. Yeah, you can never know a person is your soulmate unless you have put it always before God. That's why I say we cannot take God out of context. If you've been praying to God, He will make sure you know He's the one.
What if you're
He,
atheist, or
well, then
you don't believe in God, or you don't have a good relationship with God?
People who don't believe in God, for starters, don't believe so much in relationships. And if you hear them talk, they don't believe in having children because they don't believe in God, and God is love.
But what if
God
they
is the
do
author
believe?
of relationships and marriage. So if they don't believe in God, chances are they do not believe in long-term commitments. They believe in the strangest of things. They live for the moment. But if you are one that believes in God, again, you go back to your knees. Even when you've made mistakes and you're like, God, please show me the right person. I know I made mistakes before. In the past, I went out with the wrong people, but show me who the right person is for me. And let our encounters be ordained by you so that you meet this person. And trust me, either you meet them in a dream or you meet them in person, and they will be exactly. I know of this couple who met. The lady had some ailment in the stomach, and they told her that she could not have children. So because of that, she was dating some guy before, and then she said the moment she found out she couldn't have children, she disconnected herself from the guy because the guy had traveled to the US, and the guy was not hearing from her a lot. And he even sent a phone to one of her friends so that he can find out what is going on. And the girl told the friend that I know I can't have children, but I'm just disclosing this to you. I don't want you to tell him. And that is the reason why I'm disconnecting myself from him, because I know he will want children at some point that I can't give. Yeah. So for that, I'm going to tell you, please tell him to forget about me. Tell him I had an accident and died. Now, the man could not take it. He stayed in America for about 5 years, and then once he had settled his papers, he came back to Uganda. and started looking for her. She had moved house and went with her parents somewhere, and they moved to the village. The man came, they first of all sent her an invitation letter. They invited the parents to come for the introduction ceremony, like those we do in Uganda. Now the parents said this man must be really bad. How can he know this lady liked him, but then send an invitation letter to him inviting him to come for the introduction ceremony? But yet the man had intended that even in that state, if she came to the house, she would know that he's there and there's a way it's her he wants to marry. But the girl refused to come. So the man came himself and delivered the letter, because first they sent messages and she wasn't responding. Then he came to the house and found her. And then found out that her problem was she's actually alive, but her problem was she couldn't have children. And the man said, I don't care. I love you. And it's you I want. After 5 years. Yeah. But the accident she had that had caused her not to have children also had cut off one of her hands, and she saw she couldn't. There is no way she could face the guy. But the guy saw she had no hand and no uterus and still married her. So really, even when we are not looking perfect, the right person will really be accommodative of us or will love us the way we are.
Okay.
But it goes back like just to answer Lillian, it goes back to praying. Me, I'm saying this is a Bible reading channel. I have no any other advice except praying, and God will bring. Like you said, there's a man who has no children but wants a woman who has. Such things are answered prayers. Probably the woman was saying, God, I made mistakes. I have children. Please find me someone. God made this man not to have children and be there for her, because God always puts options. If she at this age turns to me, I will turn her mess around and make it something beautiful.
Okay. Shabuya says, I think some people aren't destined for soulmates. There are some people who die without soulmates.
There are people who are like that. There are people who are like that. And probably they don't believe in soulmates, or they don't believe in a God who makes people's paths meet.
But if they do believe,
They could believe, but when it's not, I don't know. It is God at the end of the day who has the answers to all these questions that we have. But most of the time, to every one of us, there's someone. Because God is love and He cares about how man feels.
Lillian says, the idea of a soulmate, that one perfect person destined to complete you, is beautiful, but also a bit idolized.
True. It is very, very true, and I cannot. It's idolized in a way that sometimes we over expect, yeah? Over expect from these partners. You want them to come looking this way, driving this car, living this place, having qualified in such and such. It's sometimes it's more of an idea of what we want, but not. That is why there are all these myths of, is it real or is it something that we've made up or we've come to believe is. Any other?
May I have a question? Would you say if someone married and they married and they have a soulmate, they married a soulmate, but unfortunately the soulmate passes on or dies, do you think another soulmate will come on, or that the
I think again, I say God can create for people. If you believe you want to try again, many people would be like, that's it for me. I tested love and that was it, and I'm not trying again. Yeah? Like I know of a couple who died the same day. The woman died in the morning, and they came and told the husband. He was at home, and they told him, your wife who went in hospital because of a headache has died. and the man just dropped dead. So they prepared a vigil for both of them, and they were all buried the next day. But these were an older couple in their 80s, I think. Yeah. But they had connected to that degree. So you can really meet this person and connect on those levels. But then there are those who are like, I tested a good thing. I really don't want to try again. That's it for me. But there are those who have faith that even if I bonded with this one and they were right, my right thing, I want to try again and they try again. And guess what? Because they've gone before God and asked for another round, God gives them another round.
So as a teenager, say as a Gen Z or as a teenager, we have a thing going around that um, love will catch you when when it's unexpected, when you don't want it. And when you said some people may give up on love and say I've tested it, but God sends someone else. Do you think that can happen? Being given an ex soulmate when you don't want a soulmate.
God does not mix things, guys. Let us not think He's one person that forces His will on people. God gives us what we ask for. That is why He says, ask and you will receive. If you don't want a soulmate, He won't give you. But if you believe Him to give you one, He will in the right time. That is what I can say.
But God does give us what we need. Not
Yes.
technically what we want all the time.
The Bible says He supplies all our needs. So if you have asked and it's something that you want or you would want to have in your life, at the right time when you need it, He will avail it to you.
But you say God is a father, right?
Yes.
Now, let's put it this way. I'm at home, I have no books for school, or a pen, or a bag for school. You would see that I need it, even though I've not asked for it, right? You would still supply it to me, even though I've not asked for it. Would you say I'm still stuck on that thing, even though you don't want or you're not expecting one? God will just give you a soulmate?
There are those who say that love came knocking unexpectedly, yeah, and we welcomed it. There are those who say that. Now, it came when you are not looking. And actually, some people do actually believe it. There is a lady who couldn't have children, and they told her, you go on and adopt. The moment you adopt, there's a way things work out. And then your womb will open and you start having children. And so she went on and adopted a kid. But then she never got pregnant. But she did what she was told would open doors for her to have children. Now, for relationships, when you don't expect, because we live before God, God always, like you have said, I can know because you're my child, you need shoes, or I can understand you have that. These things are getting old, you need new ones, and I just give them to you without you asking. So, same applies to God. He can bring for you love, something that you didn't know you need, but you did need, and so He gives it to you. It can happen.
We have a comment here by Jamie. What if you don't want another, but God sees a bigger plan for you and sees that you need one?
You don't need another one.
Another soulmate.
When your partner has died,
Yeah, or like has cheated, your soulmate has cheated, let's say, or has died or has left.
God is a God of love, and all that is possible. He can really do things that we don't expect. He can give you a fresh beginning. There are those who were on the rock bottom, and then God gives you a fresh start. God does those things. He does work in mysterious ways. And I wanted us to hear from a real person who has experienced both sides. Yeah. Those who believe in soulmates and those who say timing was everything. Now, there's this one person that I asked and said, I met my wife when I was 18. I didn't believe in soulmates then, but 10 years later, we reconnected. And now I know we are meant to be. That is what I said. 18 years, that is when they met. But he did not believe in soulmates. Now, there is a person that I know who always uses the word blow up. Is it glow up or grow up?
A glow.
Glow up. Like you awaken love before it's time. At 18, you met this person, but at 18, you were young. You had to study because that was the mission ahead of you. You had to grow up and get in your 20s and probably get to work and earn some money and make a life for yourself before you actually get yourself. And no wonder now you meet when you're all of the same money. You want to get married, you all want to have children, you want to settle down. It is about the timing. Yeah. But again, because you met them before and allowed time, because time changes things. Time did its thing and now they are now married and they feel like they were meant to be. And another one that I met also said, I don't think there is one person for you. I loved someone deeply, but we were in different places in life. My current partner, we grew together. That's what made it work. Okay, now you tell me, is that soulmate or is it a partner? She has actually just said, my current partner, we grew up together.
Mm.
Yeah. He said, I don't think there is one person for you. I loved someone deeply, but we were in different places in life. My current partner, we grew together. That's what made it work. Now, it all goes down to doing the right thing in the right time. You're not meeting someone, you are at school, life is happening. You understand? So that definitely is not the right person. But when you're working now and you're with this person, or it is the right time, it's the right thing because now you're all in the right space. Yeah. It's like you meet someone and they go and study after you've been married and they go off and they study for 8 years and leave you here. Really, you can grow apart. Yeah. But you can grow apart and yet you can grow apart and yet if you had waited until the 8 years of study and then meet, you can grow together and start making things work. Yeah. And then there is another story. Story believes in destiny, another in readiness. These are two people. One believes that there was destiny, another one believes in readiness, but found love. Excuse me. But the lens they used to divine it definitely are different. Now, the psychology of connection is one of them, where there's chemistry, compatibility, and trauma bonds. When I say the word trauma bonds, there are those who meet, like the September 9/11 something that happened in the US, the September, the 9/11, yeah, 9/11, when the towers were bombed.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there are people who were rescuing each other and met that way. It is so easy to think that this is my soulmate because they rescued me out of such a place. But is that the case? So that is the one they are talking about, the psychology of connection, the chemistry, compatibility, trauma bonds, what they call the trauma bonds. Now, not every deep connection is healthy. Sometimes what feels like a soulmate is actually a trauma bond. Yeah, there's a trauma bond where you are in the same situation. Trauma bond feels intense, familiar, like you have known this person forever. That's not always love. It can be unresolved wounds playing out. Did you know that?
So like daddy issues.
Aha, you had your issues, now they are playing out. This person you've always wanted. Like someone you told me about that said, when I get in a relationship again, I want someone who will treat me like a princess.
Yeah.
Probably they have their own issues. Before they were treated like rubbish. This time round, she's not ready to settle. She wants someone who will treat her like a queen that she is, or like a princess. All these are things that continue to unveil. And so you can think that is a trauma bond. You're getting involved with a person because, oh my goodness, he brought me lunch. And I was there and he brought me breakfast. He came yesterday and picked me and took me out in the evening. You think that is a soulmate. but really he's healing the wounds of the past relationship where the person neglected you, and this one knows how to play cards to get to you. He calls me 15 times a day. Oh my goodness, he's always texting. Yesterday he dropped by unexpectedly. You think they are soulmates, but really they are healing your wounds because the first person you had wasn't that thoughtful. There are people who think that married women are easy. Why? Because studies show that married women tend to be neglected. Their husbands never compliment them, they never say they look good, or they never shower them with presents or take them out. So this guy comes playing the right cards, sends you a bouquet of flowers at work, and you're like, is it for my husband? And this one is better even than my husband because my husband cannot even do that, and calls you and takes you out for lunch, and the husband is like, we'll meet at home. Yeah. So you can start thinking this is my soulmate, but really it's not. You had your own things going on, and this person is playing the right cards. Example, our relationships don't have that crazy feeling, but it is the safest. Most loving connections I have ever had, and to me, that's my soulmate. Oh, sorry, this is an example that someone gave, that our relationship doesn't have that crazy feeling, but it is the safest. So this person is saying that their relationship doesn't have that crazy feeling of, oh my goodness, he has come, oh my goodness, he's the one, but it's the safest. He's saying most loving connection I have ever had. So this person is saying that it's the most loving connection he's ever had, but it doesn't have those crazy feelings of
Drama.
or love booming. Eh? It doesn't have any of those. And to me, that's my soulmate. So that's one person who I talk to, and that's what they say. Okay, there's another comment.
We have comments here.
Mm.
Lillian says, sorry, what Jamie says, what if you don't want another? Sorry. Lillian says the deep emotional and spiritual connection that people often associate with soulmates doesn't always happen instantly.
True,
It takes a while.
it does.
And then Emmanuel Cooper says, God, God says, God gave us free will to choose for ourselves. Will God work in our decisions too?
God does not force his will on us. He puts choices before us and we choose which one are we going with, which one will work for us. God does not force his will on man. He gave us that free will where we choose what works for us. That is why you see people get married for different reasons. I can get married to you because you have a big account. I can get married to him because he's learned, he's a professor, he's the general. I can get married to her because she's got work, like we put it in Uganda. Or I can get married to her because she's got the nice skin. I can get married to the other because she's got the right height. But that does not mean that is your soulmate. And God leaves us to make that choice. What is drawing you to this person? There is this thing that I always tell people that if you fell for someone because they had brains, even when things change, try and focus on the brains because they are the sole reason why you went into with this person. But if you went to this person because they were pretty, then when pretty can't cook, when pretty has no brains, when pretty can't have children, when pretty can't work, please look at pretty and stay with pretty. Why? Because that is the first thing that you looked at, and that is what made you commit. We cannot force God. God cannot force us, and He puts all these things before us. Are we going to go vain on choices, or are we going to choose with sound minds? But most of the time we go because, oh my goodness, he's got that voice. Oh my goodness, he's got that six pack. And that is the reason why we are getting involved with people. When the six pack fades and then the big thing comes out, you're like, oh no, I don't even know where I was looking when I went out with him. You know, just like men, you get married and the girl was all together, has one child, and you find her going all over the place. and then you start looking the other way, thinking, I made a mistake. I don't even know where I was looking, going with you, going out with you. But really, you did. You understand? So God doesn't force His way with us. We can present our will and we can present our choices before Him and ask Him to guide us. And when we ask Him, He does come in and guides us.
Jamie says, Emmanuel, God works in our decision if we allow Him to and surrender.
Oh my goodness, Jamie is really a genius on this one. Yeah. She should come and join us next time. Yeah, any other comment?
Oh, no, not really.
Hmm?
No.
Okay, guys, it's a live chat. Go ahead and drop in the comments what you think on soulmates. Do they exist or is it just timing? It's a live chat. You drop your comment, we'll be able to read it. Otherwise, was continuing. So maybe the question isn't just do soulmates exist, but are we mistaking intensity for connection? And if so, what does that say about how we define love? Yeah, are we mistaking intensity for connection for in the intensity? Are we mistaking intensity for connection? And if so, what does that say about love? About how we define love? Because there is love that grows over time. I meet you, I really don't like you. You have nothing that can draw me to you. But then after hanging out with you, then I find out she's really kind. Oh my goodness. She's God fearing. I think she
Falling in
could
love.
make no, it starts off like that. I think she could make you connect on more than one level. And before you know it, you started liking this person and spending time with them. But there are those who are catchy. All they are is pretty. They are beautiful, but manners no, behaviors no, not any good. Everything is just bad. But they had the face or the work. And then you get to do with the work and you're like, please, you've got to leave. Yeah. The illusion of one and the myth of perfection, of love and of one and the myth of perfection. There are books and there are movies and fairy tales sold to us that sold us this idea of soulmate. Because have you watched the Titanic? Oh my goodness, you watch and you're like, I need to meet my Romeo. Yeah, I need to meet my Jack. Yeah. Then you watch The Notebook, or you watch. There are so many movies out there, and and then you're wondering. You start living in your head, yeah, thinking. There's a friend of mine that told me one time, I met my boyfriend at university, and now we kissed. After kissing, I was waiting for my leg to lift up by itself. And then my hair to blow on the side like the Indians, but none of those things happened. So I think that is not the one. See what people really think of soulmates. So there's what we expect based on the movies that we watch, based on the books that we read, the fairy tales we had growing up, that really are not realistic.
Fireworks, butterflies.
She's got them, yeah. But here's the truth. That belief can be dangerous because when we expect perfection from a partner, we miss the beauty of growing with someone. When we expect that partner to be perfect, I mean, he has to be perfect, speaking the right way, doing the right things all the time. We miss growing up with this person and getting to love. How you've met people who you don't like in the first place, but then over time, there are those again you meet and you're like, oh my goodness, she's nice. Oh, you should meet her. She's the best. Oh my goodness, the way she talks, the way she does it. And then you're like, oh, please, I think I made a mistake on that one. She talks too much. She does this, she does this, she does this, But on first glance, she caught your attention. Yeah. There are those who know how to sell themselves very well, but then there are those who are quiet, reserved, and they grow on you. Yeah, they grow on you. Does that mean that is destiny? Does that mean that is your soulmate? If it's in terms of partners, you didn't like them before, but I think you didn't like them because you didn't know them. Now that you got to know them, you really like who they are. That is also a different way of finding someone. The soulmate myth makes people think love should be effortless, but real love is a choice. We choose. There's someone who talked about choices there, that God should force us on our choices or choose for us. Yeah. God predestined who should be with you. It is up to you to find that person. Just like for Adam and Eve. For Adam, he created Eve, and Adam was sleeping in the garden. That's what the Bible says. And when he woke up, he found her. And when he did, he said, wow, woman. Yeah. So that means these two people have got to find each other at some point. Finding each other in all the right ways, not this business of what the world has defined beauty. And so you go chasing after beauty and looks, or money, or accounts, that the wallets of people. It has to be focused in the right way, that you find this person, that through them, yeah, a decision you make every day. Love is a decision that you make every day, especially in the hard days. Let no one fool you that those who have been married and are married to death, or who have been at it for years, have got it all figured out and they've not got hard days. It is a choice you make every day to stay married, to stay committed to a relationship. Even when that person is your soulmate, they'll go on and hurt you. Do you believe it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will hurt you, they will do things that you don't like, but that doesn't mean they are not the ones. An example is children. Oh my goodness, children are very good and very nice. They bring great joy. But again, children can really annoy you. Yeah. And that doesn't mean they stop being your children. So even when you meet your soulmate, he may be the soulmate, but then he does this thing that really hurts you to the bone. And you feel like they've done the last thing they could ever do. But that doesn't mean they are not your soulmates. Yeah. That is why we say that love is a decision you choose to make every day, to love this person every day, especially in the hard days. You choose, even when they've hurt you, they've betrayed you, they've not, you know, lived up to your expectations. You still love them and choose to be with them. Thinking there's only one person out there can keep us stuck, holding out for something that may never come, or sabotaging relationships that could have worked if we had just let go of the fantasies. That is someone else's opinion. That person said if we had let go of fantasies, we would be at a different place. But the thing is, we always live in our heads. He's got to have this. I mean, by the time he comes, he has to have money. If he doesn't have, I don't want. So you live in your head. And because you've watched enough Kardashians, you want to live like Kardashian life, shopping every day minus working, eating your uterus on TV, things like that. And you think that is what a person who is okay with all that, okay with you doing your things, yeah. Soulmates really are a different thing, and it's work. Is there any comment?
Demi says true.
Okay. Now, if we can let go of the whole thing of fantasy, we can believe and start seeing people as our soulmates. Because anyone who you grow with, I'm not saying grow up as childhood friends, but this person grows on you. You realize on so many levels you connect. Before walls are built and people take on faces, if you can connect with this person, you never know, that could be the right person for you. The way the person treats you, the way they act. Last time we had the topic of, those gaslighting kind of relationships, or relationships that are toxic. If the person is not toxic and is normal, you give them a chance and see if they are the ones for you. If you have taken God out of context. Otherwise, me, instead of trying left, right, and center, I would put it straight before God. This is my way. I'll put it before God and be like, God, show me who the right one is. And God, because I believe, guys, you don't have to take what I'm saying, but I believe God answers prayer. The Bible says that He created us in His image. If I have ears and can hear, God does hear. If I have eyes and can see, God does see all that is going on. If I have a heart that feels pain, He does feel pain. And He does understand if I do understand. So because He does understand, yeah, guess what? I go before Him and I'm like, God, please bring the right person for me. I always feared so much joining the list of those girls who are out to trap guys. I never wanted to get to that stage where I'm setting traps everywhere. In Uganda, we call it kwetega, niwetega. I really didn't want it. I wanted God in His right time to find someone for me that He saw I deserve. And we can all go before God. It's never too late. Even when you've had a failed relationship, you can ask God to bring the right person. There are people who have met in their 50s. There are people who have met in their 70s. So why not me with my 5 children or with my 6 children or with my 2 children or my 1 boy or one girl? You understand? So it's about how we see ourselves and what we think of ourselves. If we think it's too late, then we settle with less. But if we think something can be done, then we go before God. We are like that prodigal son who went to his father and said, I made a mistake. Now I come back. He had eaten with pigs for so long. But the day he realized that even the help in his father's house eat better and live better, he packed and went back to his father. And his father wrapped his arms around him and welcomed him. So even when we've made mistakes in life and had relationships in the past that we were not so proud of, we can really go before God and ask Him to do better with us, and He can give us better. Can you have more than one soulmate? Is a question someone asked. So what if there is more than one? Maybe a soulmate isn't a singular event. Maybe it's someone who meets you where you are when you are ready to grow. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
So you believe you can have more than one soulmate?
Yeah, definitely. There are people who believe that your best friend can be your soulmate, girl to girl, just on a friendship level. And then if you're talking romantically, you can have a soulmate too.
More than one?
Yeah, you can have more than one soulmate. Someone who gets you. I would say my sister is my soulmate. She's my best friend. She's my calm. She's someone that feels like home, even though she is home technically. But as her being my soulmate, I would also say I would have a soulmate out there who is a potential partner. So I do think,
But in this case, we are talking about soulmate in terms of relationship. I think you're right. People can have, like I think Jamie mentioned, that what happens if you have a soulmate and then that soulmate passes away or leaves you. You thought they were your soulmate and then they just left you for someone else or they died. If you go before God, I still bring it before God. You can find another soulmate.
do you think you can have 2 soulmates at once?
No.
Like you're married to your soulmate, but another soulmate comes along
Oh
and
no.
is your co-worker.
Oh
and-
no, 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 no.
And is
No,
your
no,
co-worker.
no.
And
No, they call it soulmate for a reason. It's like your missing rib. It's like Adam. Guys, don't get annoyed if I refer to the Bible. It's the one thing that I know. Adam had ribs, but from his rib, God took out and created Eve. I mean, He is God. He could have made Eve, Sarah, Jackie, just so Adam has so many and a variety to pick from. But guess what He did? In His wisdom, He made Adam with Eve, just one person. not two, not three, not four, but one. So you can only have one at a time. You can't have two. It has to be one at a time. The other one can be your friend, as your sister, you've said, but you cannot have two soulmates. Really,
At
you can't.
once.
Because he comes in and becomes your soulmate. You are free to tell them anything, yeah, and not feel ashamed. Like I can go to my husband and I tell him about my day, or he can even know the deepest things that I've never told anyone. Why? Because I feel that comfortable with him. Now, if I have two people on the side and I can pour myself out to everyone, that means I'm just a blabbermouth. I'm just one who looks for sympathy, and I'm really thirsty for attention. But it's not soulmate. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sometimes there's someone who said sometimes people have multiple soulmates, level relationships, not because they were all meant to be forever, but because each one served a purpose in your life story. Okay, I have no comment on that one, but that is someone's opinion. Someone sent it as a message and says sometimes people have multiple soulmates. I don't believe in it. A soulmate is this person that is your missing link. How can you have many people holding you together? You think about it. Because a missing rib, a soulmate is your missing rib. Back to the Bible basics. Yeah? Eve was created from Adam. The reason why she was got from the rib is not just so that Adam can step on her and look down on her. Yeah? Otherwise, God would have got Eve from his feet, but he got her from the rib. Why? So that they can walk together. They balance each other's lives out. Yeah? Now, if the rib is got from the side, really, how can you have two missing ones or three missing? He has one, the other has one, another can really function. It's like your body is split in many places at the same time. Yeah. So this one who says sometimes people have multiple soulmates and says level relationships, not because they were all meant to be forever, but because each one served a purpose in your life story. I don't know whose story you're building and why you're building that story. Those are our mistakes that we made with these people that we thought were the right ones, but they are not soulmates. And when you meet that one person, they are not perfect. They have imperfections, but guess what? You bear with them because no one is perfect. If we go on looking for perfection, perfect people who have got it all together, then we would not. Very few people, yeah, very few people are really perfect. No one is. And another one said, Fiona, my first love taught me how to open up. My second taught me how to heal. My husband, he is the one I built with. All of them felt like soulmates in different ways. That is Fiona's Fiona's take. That her first love taught her how to open up. So she needed someone to teach her how to open up. Okay, that's how she sees it. Because opening up, you don't need a person to be your soulmate to learn how to open up. It starts at a place where you just, learn to talk about yourself and be free with people. But it doesn't mean that everyone you're going to be free with is your soulmate. Anyway, that's what I think. But she says, my first love taught me how to open up. My second taught me how to heal. I don't know how someone can teach you how to heal and then leaves you. And unless he said, get over it. Maybe. But my husband, he is the one I build with. All of them felt like soulmates in different ways. And unless we are getting it wrong, you can feel that someone is your soulmate, but when it's your first love, your first crush, and really it just feels right because he's doing everything the right way. Yeah? But it doesn't mean they are your soulmate. I don't believe they can be those many. This one passes and another one because they are building. Eh? Because they are different soulmates at different ways, soulmates in different ways. Love doesn't always last forever, but that doesn't make it less real or less sacred. That is very true. It may not last forever, but it's sacred. It is sacred. It's God ordained. Now, that is why we shouldn't take every infatuation, if I may put it, as though it is love and that is your soulmate. Now, there's someone who also said to wrap it up together. We asked the people who study love for a living: is it fate or is it timing? Yeah, the neuroscientist said timing matters. Your brain changes with age, and 50s do your do your need do your needs in a partner. I don't understand. Okay, the neuroscientist that we asked said that timing matters. Your brain changes with age, and it is very true. Can you imagine when you're a teenager, the things that sound and seem wow, and a person who looks cool and beautiful and different from a person when you're 40 or 30? You do know.
Yeah.
I thought teenagers don't. I thought they don't. I thought teenagers thought, oh my goodness, he's got that voice. Oh my God, he's got. You should see him. He's got that smile. Oh my goodness, he's
You mature, you grow,
you grow.
and people say when you reach 25,
Mm.
your frontal lobe develops,
Okay.
and when your frontal lobe develops, you start to like something else. You will prefer different things.
Now, does that mean if you met someone in school and thought they were your soulmate all 3 years of school, you believe that it can get to a place where you don't even think they are anymore because that globe has grown?
It can change.
It can. It
It can.
does change. It can.
It
It
does
it-
change, but it depends. If you've grown up with this person, you've known them, you've made a connection, you've grown up with them, and you've reached your 25s, your 30s, and
Rarely
you
does
change.
such a thing happen. You know why? Because like I have this jumper that I'm wearing. I get it today. Next year, it will be lucky if I look at it. Do you know why?
Because you've changed your style.
It will have faded. Like you said, my sense of style could have changed. It may not be giving anymore because this may be almost gone on. Yeah. Now, if you start awakening love at an early age, soulmate, yeah, you definitely get to a place where you feel like you are bored. It's old. You want something new because you started early. An example, you start eating your jackfruit. It's on the tree. It's jackfruit. Then you start cutting off a piece because you can't wait. And it smells. It looks like you think it is ready. You just cut off and then you taste like it's not. Okay, you eat that one and leave it at that. Then you go on and cut another piece. You eat. By the time it's ready, it would have been ready. It's rotting, and you can't have it anymore. So that's why I don't even believe in teenage relationships. This business of you're in school, you're supposed to be studying, and all you're doing is you think you've met that one. By the time whatever you said grows, the law, things have changed. Your interests have changed. You have grown into age. Like this one, the neuroscientist says, timing matters. Your brain changes with age. So does your need in a partner. When you're younger, you're looking for someone with a six pack. When you're older, guess what you're looking for? Someone who will love you the way you are. Someone who is accepting. Someone who will work with you and you grow all together. They come sometimes when they have bald heads, sometimes they have some teeth missing. But you're like, with this one, I feel at home.
But teenage son to you. They have a partner and they see that they can go through everything.
But how many have you met in school that met in the early classes and are still together? Say
There
like
are
they
so
met
many.
in.
There are so many. You can go on TikTok. You can go
Well,
on
TikTok
Instagram.
is TikTok.
Yes, but
Social media does play out life differently, and reality is a whole new thing. Social media plays out things differently compared to what reality
okay, I
is.
have a classmate. Her name is Angel.
Mm.
And she says her parents met when they were in S2. Probably like around the age of 13, 14. And when they met, they dated, but not seriously, like as teenagers, not seriously. And they kept on growing with each other, timing, sacrificing time, with studies. You all have your like, I have to study, I don't have time for you right now, or I'm sick, or I have responsibilities to do at home. They kept on growing, and even up to now, they're still together, her parents. And they've been together for almost 30 years. And in marriage, they've been together for 28 years, for 20, I think, 10, 20 years. And I do think relationships can flourish from a teenage love. It just depends if you're serious or you're mature enough, mentally or emotionally. You said their timing depends on also the person's being mature. Now, I would say I am mature mentally and emotionally. I wouldn't want someone, okay, I'm looking at your physical, you look good, you're good, everything is good. But someone can go from a 10 out of 10 to going into negatives or a 1, or their personality just makes them so bad that you don't count the looks. And most teenagers have grown up. You want someone who loves you no matter what. You want someone who loves you in your bad hair day. You want someone who loves you when you don't have time for them and they understand you. You want someone who loves you, your family, even though the circumstances, your siblings are sick, you don't have time for your partner. You want someone who is there for you. I would say a teenage love, it is developing. Teenage love is developing, not as one would say, you just want the looks, the money. Okay, there are some people. It depends.
But
Everyone's different.
most teenagers don't even differentiate between love and infatuation. You know, when you've just gotten these freedoms from primary section where they beat or where they don't allow you to talk to boys, and then the hormones kick in, and then you start thinking, really, this is love. Because I mean, did you see how he came and picked me out of the rest? Did you see how he shared his lunch with me? That to you is love, but there is more to love in a relationship that
Well,
qualifies one as a soulmate.
I wouldn't think that is love. Someone doing sharing with you your lunch or someone sitting with you in class. If you grow with someone, you grow with someone.
Okay. Is there any comment?
Jamie says, I follow a Christian couple who have been together since they were 16, and now they got married later on and are still married till now. Not only teenagers make these mistakes, but also some adults.
True. Very true. Now the teenagers she's following, the couple she's following, they are a Christian couple. That is why I said don't take God out of context. The moment God is in context, things are different. They play out different because the guy is in fear of God. And so you could find they started off as teenagers and never soiled themselves into having sexual intercourse. And that probably kept them. Because the moment you don't do that, then God will allow you to move together. But the moment you do, you've broken something, it is sin. It's called fornication.
Yeah.
And it's already taking God out of context. Now, we are raising a generation of people who do not fear God but have their rights. Yeah, that is the generation we are raising up. Our children, it's their rights. I mean, they are free to go out and be with their friends on birthdays or go and party with their friends. We think it is trending, and you're a trending mom or a trending dad when you allow your children to go out and be with their mates. Yeah, but while they go out there, they think they have found the right people because when hormones kick in, really, that's why teenagers need to be guided. Or even people who are not teenagers, even like Jamie said, adults make mistakes as well and go off with the wrong people. We all do. Me, I bring it back to uh, going before God to guide us on those choices. Anything you're about to do, you ask Him to guide you. An example, I bought a fridge. If I don't check the manufacturer's manual and it discourages me from putting hot things in the fridge and I get them and put them in the fridge, the next thing the fridge will stop working. Why? The manufacturer says do not put hot things, and I went on and put hot things. So now the fridge cannot work. So same applies to us and God. Relationships are ordained by God. We cannot take Him out of context. Relationship, love is of God. That is why it's the greatest commandment He left us with. Now, if I'm going to relate, if I'm going to fall in love, I really need to consult with my manufacturer, who is God, who created me and has got the manual for me. Do you understand? It's only right that you go to Him. We think we know, but we have to run it across with Him. I mean, I buy that fridge, the manufacturer Hisense knows it is out of his care, but it's his brand. Yeah? That is why when it fails to work, no one can fix it except one who comes from Hisense, who has been trained in Hisense products, right?
Yeah.
So same applies to us and God. God is the only one who knows about love because He loved and then He gave. You understand? Now, when we take Him out of context, saying it's soulmate, it's my soulmate, I can have more than one. I had the first one, now I'm having another one. The other taught me this, now this one is teaching me this one. The third one is going to teach me this. How many lessons are you going to have before you realize none of them was, and the one that you with now is the one? You know, it already when we go on staining ourselves like that. I gave you an example of a cloth. It is nice, it is beautiful. I think it is the one for me. Yeah. But then I step on it as I'm getting out of the shop. And just before I get to the taxi park, I drop it in the mud. Well, I'll get home with my clothes, but it won't be the same. It will not smell the same. It won't look the same. Even when I wash it, it won't come out exactly as it was. Probably it even may shed color and change to some degree. So, guys, it's a live podcast, and we are talking about soulmates. And do you think they exist, or is it timing? If there's anyone out there that is listening, go on and drop in the comments. Let us know your opinion on this. And Rogers, you went quiet on me. I don't know whether the soulmate thing is not one for you, but you said that you believe soulmates exist. So I'm yet to hear from you and what your take is on soulmates. And anyone else that is listening in. Single dad, you went quiet. I needed to know as well from you what your take is on soulmates. Is there any comment?
Yeah. Jamie says, so from the example I gave, even some other Christians can meet their soulmates even when they're teenagers at school.
They can meet their soulmates even as teenagers at school. But like I said, God is not a God of mistakes, of confusion. It's in the Bible. Do the right thing at the right time. Yeah? In the right place. There is a time and a season for everything under the sun. So if there is a time for everything under the sun, God cannot intend. You're in primary. You meet your soulmate and start off from there. You are in secondary. You meet your soulmate and start off from there. I think you can, because we've made relationships work. You know, you can be in a toxic relationship and you stay in it. Why? Because you feel you've already committed yourself. You feel like you've already had children with this person. You feel like you've already made a mistake.
But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they break up or they leave
There
or
are some who
divorce.
will stay because of fear of what society may think of them, or what parents will think of them, or culture, or religion, and you stick in it. But that doesn't mean it's the right one. God doesn't confuse. He's not a God of confusion, whereby He's at this point in time you're supposed to be at school learning,
But you're still
focusing on your academics, and then He introduces love as well, so that you can do them concurrently. Like there's no time for you,
But
and
there is, it's like you're saying, there's a particular time.
there's a time
There's-
for everything.
Yes, but
Yes.
you can't meet your soulmate in university, right? But you're
Mm.
still studying. You
Mm.
can't meet your soulmate while you're doing work.
Are you saying you
You're still
can or
studying.
you can't?
You can.
Mhm.
I'm saying even in school, people have done it. People have done
Yes.
it in high school, and their relationship is good.
Mm.
There is a right time. You bring
Mm.
that up to God, and if you see that this person is brought up by God, and you see you're both on the same level, you're both equally yoked, you're both in a good state of relationship with God. I
Now the thing is, uh, many things that we do, we think God is behind. Many things we think God is behind. But unless you gave it to Him, would you know whether
yes.
He's
What if
behind
I
it or
give
not?
what if I give it to God and He brings me my person in high school and I am studying like right now at the ripe age of 17 or 18
And you
I'm
say, God,
studying.
bring him, let me study while I'm with
No, I wouldn't say God bring him.
Mm.
I would be like God in your own timing. And God brings him. We don't know why, but God has brought him there in that time. You can't question it. Because maybe what if you need your soulmate during that time? What if you're going through a hard time, no one gets you? Nothing, no one gets you, no parents, so you have no one around. But-
One thing I know is that God is a God of order. And He wants us to come to Him, all of us who are laboring and are heavy laden. What is it that you're going through that God will push you in the arms of another
We all need
instead of
someone. He
Himself?
said God gives us someone because
It's
He does
all
not
of
want
us.
us to be lonely.
Man, look, for man to be alone, not for a child or
Yes.
for a student. Okay, well, those things happen. Those things happen. It doesn't. We don't know the timeline for God when
True,
your soulmate
true.
would come. But the thing is, God. One way of knowing whether God is behind it or not, He does not mix affairs. He does not. He waits for you to finish one thing and start on another. An example: when Jesus Himself was supposed to be the Savior, yeah, He did not start His ministry until He was of a right age. David, when he was anointed to become a king, he was anointed at 17, but he did not become a king until he was 30. You get me? There is a time for everything. There is nowhere in the Bible. And another example is Samuel. Yeah, you know the one who grew up in the temple.
Yeah.
Now he was called by God at an early age, but guess what? He did not start ministry until he was grown. All the stories that we see Joseph at 17. God started showing him his destiny, that he would become great, that he would, that his brothers would bow down before him at 17. But did they bow down before him before 17? No, it was when he was grown and of a right age. So there are things that God can bring in our way. If God reveals to you that that will be the one, it takes time. Like I
Yes.
said, I, for one, I dreamt when I was in school who he would be. But I didn't go start looking for him and seeing where he is.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying you look like He is there. God has brought him to you, right? And He's there. You're dating or whatever. Then you get married later on.
Those people have also been there. Those cases are there. But I, for one, I don't know how they end as well. I don't know. All I know is that when you mix issues, if it's time for something and then you're introducing something else, if a child is at school and performing very well, how you know they are involved in things is when their grades start dropping. How they drop is they introduced in something else that has driven their attention from books to another thing. That's my take. Someone else, guys, go on and drop it in the comments. It's a live chat, and we are going on simply because I see your numbers still up. Guys, let me know who is watching. Otherwise, when my guest says they are leaving, we will close off. Let me know who is watching, where you're watching from, and what your take is about soulmates. Do you think they exist or it's a thing of timing? Let me know what your take is.
I have some comments here.
Yes.
We have Jenny who says, but God works in mysterious ways. You can't put God in a box of what he can and cannot do, or when he will or when he won't do things. There is also a king in the Bible who got anointed and became king at a young age.
Yes. But do you know why he became a king at a younger age? He became at a younger age a king because his father had done. But guess what? He did not start practicing. There are so many kings that became kings as children, but they did not start taking up their positions as king until they were fully grown. They had people who helped them grow up and get to that state where they can carry out their duties as kings.
So what you're saying is that teenagers can't have love and can't date as long as they're supervised.
That's not what I said. We talked about soulmates and we are still focusing on soulmates. You can get it twisted and think that is your soulmate when actually it's an infatuation and this person has played their cards right. And you think they are the ones because they are playing all cards right and they are doing all that seems like the right thing. Yeah. But when they are not, that is what I'm saying. And we'll finish the neuroscientist's opinion, which is timing, and timing matters. Your brain changes with age, and so do your needs and in a partner. But then the spiritual leaders say, I believe souls find each other over lifetimes. But even divine timing requires human choice. Did you hear that? Now, this is an opinion I got from a spiritual leader that said that I believe souls find each other over time. So it takes time to find each other. This is from a spiritual leader. But even divine timing requires human choice. It could be like it's the right time, but then you have to make that choice to either go for that person or not. So, like what Emma something said, yeah, the choice is ours. We choose. We always have that choice. I'll give you an example of my own personal story. When I met my husband now, I had had a prophecy that he is coming and he's the one. When he comes, I will know. So I was at work. That is where I first met him. And then I got this job in a mysterious way because I had not yet graduated. I had not yet finished school, but I got this job. I applied, not being serious, for an accounts job. And then he comes in as an auditor. And then I because I had had prophecy prior to his coming, that when he comes, I will know because the Lord will make it known to me that he's the one. Guess what I did? He came and I'm like, I started picking him up. He drinks a lot of water. Probably he drinks alcohol. He does this. Probably he does this. And that is what I kept on saying all the time, trying to disprove that he's the one. Not that he was not good looking or anything, but I felt like it had happened so fast. I could not believe that I was seeing the person I dreamed years ago in my office. So the choice is ours. So it was up to me to either decide to go with him or refuse him. But all these things were showing me he's the one. I mean, the dreams years back and the prophecy about 3 weeks back before his coming. But I was like, no, no, no. So that choice was mine, and I had to choose. And I put it before God. I said, I'm allergic to this and this and this. If he does something like this, then I'll know he's the one. And he did it. Then I said, okay, now, the last thing that I told God was, I'm traveling to go and study and live with my father. So if I'm going, if he comes over, then I'll know he's the one. All this because I didn't want to make a mistake. And because I was seeking guidance from God, God ensured that all these signs that I put, he met. So I knew, even when I got into that relationship and faced different issues or problems, guess what? I was hanging in there, and I'm still hanging in there. Why? Because I know for sure that he's the one. And no one said that the road would be easy. Yeah. So I took it anyway. No one told me it would be easy, but I took it. So I hung in there because I lean on the fact that I first proved with God that he was the one. So if just because he's the one doesn't mean he won't come with flaws. He's got his own baggage, he's got his own flaws. Just like Adam and Eve. Eve, my goodness, that woman had a weak soul. That when she had, you could get wise on this fruit eating. She jumped at it and made Adam eat as well. And look where we are now, because of a choice of one person. So Eve had also her flaws, even when she was God's best for Adam. So our best also can come with flaws. Is there a comment?
Yeah. Emmanuel Cooper says, I agree with Jerry. You cannot put God in a box of what he can and cannot do or when, because he has a reason for why he would give you your soulmate when you're younger. And then we have Yana.
Read it again.
I agree with Jimmy. You cannot put God in a box of what he can and cannot do or when, because he has a reason for a reason. Sorry, he has a reason for why he would give you your soulmate when you're younger.
Now, Emmanuel, if I may say something, in life, that is why we can't rule out the fact that we have choices. Choices are put out for all of us in life. You choose to go in school and stay at school, even when your parents want you to. You choose to go to school and stay in school. But also you can choose not to go and become, a sole loser. Because at the end of it, this is what I told you even when you were studying for exams. I told you that success is personal. Same applies to failure. Yeah. I ran my race. I went to school. I studied and learned what I had to learn. Yeah. Now I ran my race and made my life. If my life is this and it's not what you want to make it better, right? It is your choice. Because of what you want to become, what you want out of life, you take certain choices and you live with them. So same applies to us. If we think with our choices, God wants all of us to succeed. But the choice is ours. He says, if Jadine is going to be an accountant, she will do this and this and this. But if she doesn't go for the choice of accounting and studies to become a lawyer, she will do this and this and this. And this is what is waiting for her. Our lives are laid out. God is never surprised that, oops, she has gone off with this one. Those are choices he has put out for us. And he watches to see which one you go for. And when you go for that one, he knows the outcome. You understand? So I hope what Emmanuel is saying that even as a teenager, God can bring, it is his choice. We choose. At the end of the day, we choose that I'll start a relationship at 17. That is my soulmate. And then when later you realize it's not, it becomes one of those mistakes you made. And then you move on and get another one. And then another one, and then another one. We cannot say it is God doing it. We can't. And there's no hidden agenda in God, giving us soulmates 1, soulmate 2. You start at 17, you realize at 22 that wasn't the one. Then you get one at 50, at 30, another one at 42. All those are our choices. We choose. And it's up to us to think of our choices as God given or not. But if you present your choice before God, there's this thing that I've always heard, that if something is yours, you let it go. If it comes back, it was meant to be yours and it is yours. But if it doesn't, then it wasn't. Yeah? So even with what we call soulmates, I made my choice. Guess what? Because I had put it before God and it came that way, I believe it's His choice for me. So guess what? If in my relationship I'm not happy, no one else is, it's me. Understand? If He is the right one, no one else is enjoying it but me. So really, soulmates, is it a thing that you believe in, or is it timing?
Okay. Alan Matovo says, I hear you, Jenny. However, the young king had advisors and a queen mother to guide him.
I hope that one answers. People are always, there's always something about timing. God has never used younger people. Never. He allows them to go with in the process of growing up. Yeah. There is a time for ordaining, a time for commission, where you go out. God can say, this is the one for you. Like I told you, I dreamed when I was a teenager who he would be. Yeah. And that because I had asked for it. Had I not asked, probably I would have been with the whites and had a half-caste child or children and then had others along the way while I'm waiting to see which one is the right one for me. Yeah. But because I asked, he showed me. And so I didn't waste time with any other person. I waited.
Okay. Jasper says, but there are some people who get married at ages where one would think is premature, but they put God in the middle of their relation and manage to last longer in the marriage than most, like Jamie 17 mentioned.
Jamie 77 mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. There are those who have, but like again said, the center should be God. He's our help. I mean, He's the one who orchestrated love. And because He's the one who orchestrated love and relationships, if you call on Him, can help you deal with your mess.
So you're saying, so now I have a question. I saw this TikTok once, a video, and was this girl, she was married at 19 and her husband was 20. Do you think that doing that and finding, because she's a Christian, actually he's a pastor, a young pastor in a church, they are Christian, like God, like godly followers, and they believe that that's their soulmate. What are your thoughts on that?
When you get, this is now just me giving counsel from my own experiences. I think relationships that we start early when we are still young are bound to go through a lot of pain. A lot. Not intentionally, but it just happens because you're young. Remember, the hormones are still playing, emotions are playing, what you're seeing is still coming in at play. And so there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of, like you as a girl, girls tend to mature faster than boys. I don't know why, but girls mature faster than boys. So while a girl can be thinking, let us buy this, let us do this, the boy is, but why? I want to play video game. The boy in him is still there. So that those kind of relationships suffer a lot really.
But would you say that would be the ultimate test to prove that your relationship is ordained by God?
The thing is, when you see them in TikTok, you don't know how long it took before they split, or if it worked or didn't work. Find someone who has been together for 50 years, 30 years, and they met at 16, then you tell me. Or they met at Very few cases are there. Why? It's like an old cloth, like I say. Yeah? You get tired of each other. Not that you intentionally want to hurt each other, but because you are not, like the neuroscientists say, that timing matters. Your brain changes with age, and so do your needs in a partner. When you met at 18, at 19, there were things that you wanted from each other. The needs were different. You understand? But then when that is why an adult person can say their relationship won't last. Because what you see while you're standing up, an adult can see miles away seated down. You understand? Why? Because it is so obvious. The challenges are so obvious. The struggles are so obvious. And so you end up, causing yourself undue pain. You may think you've met a soulmate, but give it time, you realize it was the biggest mistake you've ever had. Like the other who said that my first one taught me how to open up, my second one to heal, and now my husband we are building. You understand? But God doesn't want us to go through all this. Because every relationship we go through, guys, believe you me, someone is taking from you and someone is giving you something. The girl is receiving something and the man is taking from you. You understand? Every relationship. So we should guard our hearts as to how easily we give them out, thinking this is the right one, this is not. God does not take delight in us pouring ourselves out there today to someone and to another person and to another person, finding when I'm building here, I'm healing here, I'm opening up. No. He would want that you do it one time and do it right.
Still have many. Jasper continues to say, God still works in ways we will not fully comprehend, but you just trust it and go with the flow. Even though He may reveal your soulmate to you while you're still a teenager, meet and date and prepare for marriage in the future.
That is so true. He can't show you, but it's for the future. And probably he has shown that person to you. You've met but didn't even take note of each other because you didn't see yourselves in that way. Because when you're a teenager, you're not looking to settle. You are on that goal. You understand?
Not really. Some don't. Some want to settle.
Mm. Okay.
Emmanuel Cooper says, I agree too. Then Jasper continues to say, I also agree that trying to find a relationship for yourself when it is not time is also bad because along the way you can end up heartbroken, insecure, or even caught up in soul ties that are hard to break. Alan Matobo continues to say, King David was anointed king as a teenager, but became king at 30 years. Trust the process of God's timing.
Wow. Preach it, preacher. Now we go to the spiritual leaders. The spiritual leader says, I believe souls find each other over time, but even divine timing requires human choices. I think we've covered that one. And then the other one says, the marriage counselor that I talked to says, I see couples every day who choose each other and become soulmates by growing together, not by waiting for perfection. You had that bit? So if you found someone and they are not perfect, this marriage counselor says that she sees couples every day who find each other and grow together and learn to live with each other. The census, love is a mix. A mystery and maturity, chemistry and commitment, faith may open the door, but it's timing, effort and choice that keeps you inside. Now, note those things, that it is timing. In other words, you are working love. So like you're between jobs, you don't have a job yet, and you think you start on love, it will bring uncalled for stress. So you put that on hold and try and sort yourself out. You're at school, books are crushing you left, right, and center. You probably have to travel and study somewhere else, and then you bring in love. So that is where the excuse me, chemistry and commitment fate may open doors from. But it's time. They also said it's timing, it's the effort and choice that keep you inside. You choose, and it has to be also the right time. And you have to put in that effort to make it work. That rules out the whole thing of soulmate. Conclusion and what I may call final thought. So, do soulmate really exist, or is it just timing? Maybe it's neither. Maybe it's both. Maybe a soulmate is someone who shows up at just the right time. Maybe it's someone who completes you in the end. The real magic of love isn't in finding the one, it's in becoming the kind of person who can build something beautiful when love does find you. I think that is very true as we try to summarize this whole topic. I think it is becoming the kind of person who can build something beautiful when love does find you. There's this gentleman who said, I'm looking for someone who can just have their head on right, someone who is enterprising, someone who will help me get better, someone who will take care of me and I'm able to take care of. You see, now this person is at that place where they are looking for someone who will complete them. And trust me, if they find that person, they will settle. But if they don't, they will not settle with just anyone. Why? Because now they know what they want. And like I said, it becomes a kind of person who can build something beautiful. You don't otherwise go for something that is perfect, but someone who can build something beautiful when love finds you. So whether you are still searching, holding on, or letting go, know this, yeah, that love isn't just about fate or time. It's about presence, it's about choice, and it's always worth believing in. So you can share your love story in the comments. Maybe your soulmate is watching, and you never know, they will look you up. So that is what I had to share today. Guys, those of you who have been on from the very beginning, you are amazing. And you didn't let me know in the comment section who it is that is still watching. Because I see you watching, but you're not commenting. And that is, I don't know whether there's any more comments.
We have Jamie who said, Alan, that is true about King David being anointed and about King David being anointed as a teenager but becoming king at 30. So we trust God's timing.
That's right.
And Shabuya says soul ties in past relationships are real.
Soul ties in past relationships
Are real.
Now, soul ties are a different thing altogether, guys. There's what we call soulmate, but they are soul ties. We can have soul ties with people that we have slept with. We can have soul ties with people that we have hanged around with, where we can't seem to break away. Like, you start smoking in school with these people, and you realize they are also doing drugs. Now they are drinking, but you cannot break away. You feel tied with them. Yeah. You want to break away, but each time they call over the weekend, let us go here. So soul ties are different from soulmates. And true soul ties are real. You can be tied to a person you slept with once. You can be tied to a person that died. You understand? So those are real, and they'll be for another day and another topic. Otherwise, guys, you have been a great sport, and those of you who are still on, let me know who is, because we are about to conclude this chat in about 5 minutes, guys. So if you're going to say something, say it now. Let me know who it is that has been watching, who is watching. And once you do, we'll close off after that. Yeah, and Alan says, thank you, Winfred and Audrey, for the presentation. You're welcome. And thank you for always being a good sport and tuning in. And Jasper, I'm still here. Oh, thank you, Jasper, for being here. And I hope you've enjoyed your staying there because you said I'm still here. And guys, whoever is still there, let us know who is, where you're watching from. Just before we conclude, let us know who is there and where you're watching from. And if you feel blessed by this channel and you've enjoyed the live podcast, we are on every Friday at about 9:50, 9:40, 9:50 tops. Otherwise, this channel is dedicated to reading the Bible, and you can go ahead and subscribe. You'll be able to get notification of videos as and when they drop in, and also you'll be able to access in the archives all the lives that we have done because we've done several. We've done lives on finances, investments, relationships, and everything in between. You think about it, you probably handled it at some point. And you can also go ahead and drop in the comments. Let us know what topic you want us to discuss next Friday. And keep it right here. We'll be here for you. Yeah, God is the one who gives life. If He gives us life, we will be here next Friday and chatting with all of you guys. Otherwise, my co-host has been a great sport. She can say something as well.
It was a privilege and an honor to be here. I
Okay.
loved the conversation and the topic. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up and for the comments, for the positive comments.
Okay, now I see our numbers are shooting up again. Let me know who is on. I don't want to hang up on anyone. This is just time to get to know each other. So let me know who else is on now, who has just tuned in, where you're from, and whether you've enjoyed soulmate chat and what you think of soulmates. I mean, there is not one answer for a question. There is so many. And like I said, since there are so many answers on a topic, so many opinions, go ahead and give yours. Otherwise, as for us, our opinions have run out and we're just waiting to hear from you. And if in 4 minutes you've not said anything, we will sign off and we will be able to wait and see you next Friday when we talk about another topic. You can read whoever has written.
Shabuya says that she's here. They're here. Jenny says that she's also still here and that she enjoyed the night.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jamie, for also the comments, for watching. And Shavoyo, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the comments that you've sent. I need to.
Jamie continues to say thank you guys for showing up. And Emmanuel Cooper says thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for watching. I'm seeing you for the very first time. I hope you'll be here next Friday when we do another one. I did hear from Rogers. I don't know whether the topic was beyond what you could comprehend. Otherwise, if soulmate is not the topic for you, let me know which topic you'd want us guys to discuss next Friday when we meet again. Otherwise, you can drop it in the comment sections and we will be able to see it and consider it for our next podcast. Otherwise, like I said, we have 2 minutes. And those of you who have been on from beginning to end, guys, thank you so much. Zemichel, you are great spot. Thank you, my dear, and thank you, Alan. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jasper, Lydian, Shaboya, and Emmanuel. Thank you, guys, for tuning in. And all of you that have tuned in that have not made mention of, simply because your names didn't appear in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alan, you have been amazing and thank you so much. Until next time, guys, when we do yet another live, I see our numbers going up. I really don't know who it is that is tuning in right now. Let me know who it is. Because I don't want to leave when we are more than 20 people on. So I need to know who it is that has just tuned in and what your opinion is on, do you believe in soulmates or is it timing? I need to know who it is. Mhm. Any comments?
Shabuya says it was very interesting and interactive. Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're welcome, dear. And we hope to hear from you next Friday. And anyone else that is on, guys, let me know. And I'm waiting for the clock to tick and then we close off. Otherwise, say something. It's Friday. Let me know where you're enjoying your Friday from, whether you're at work or you are at home, just enjoying Friday night. Let me know. Otherwise, I'm seeing 22 people are on and you guys are not hanging up and you shouldn't be silent. It's a live chat. Go on in the comments. Let us know who is watching and where you're watching from.
Alan says thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. We are still waiting. Otherwise, when our numbers drop to below 20, then we'll sign off. I'm waiting for you guys to either sign off or we are going to close it off. Okay, guys, the numbers are not dropping and you're not saying anything. They are just shooting up because now the number has even gone way above. Yeah. I hope you have had a good time. Until next time when we meet on Friday. Bye, guys, and take care.